The first thing you're going to need to do is Google MIT App Inventor. You're going to want to bookmark the website once we get to it. You're going to click Create Apps, and I want you to bookmark it. When you go in for the first time, it's going to ask you to give permission to Google to use your email information. Click Allow. If you get brought into a screen or a project that you had started previously, just go to Projects and My Projects. You're going to start a new project and you're going to name it DigDoodle and your first and last name. Notice how I have the first letter of each word capitalized. This is called camel case. This is how I would like you to name your projects. For a digital doodle, we're going to be using 3 components. A component is like a little package of functionality. You're going to drag over a button, a canvas, and a camera. The button is here, so you're just going to click and drag a button over. You're going to drag a canvas over, which is going to be under the drawing and animation. Oops. And you're going to drag over a camera, and the camera is going to be under Media. You want Camera. Now notice you can see the button and you can see the canvas, but the camera is down here. It's a non-visible component, so that means it's not something that shows up on the actual screen on your device. So you'll always see these under the non-visual components. So let's change the text on the button. So if we go over to the button, you'll see the properties show up here. The text for the button is down here on the right, and we're going to change it to take a picture! Exclamation point. I can zoom in a little bit. My screen's pretty small. Here's the text for it. And that's Archer talking in the background, watching a video. We're going to switch to the blocks view. So this is the designer view. This is where we design our screen. The blocks view is where we program our functionality. You can see that up in the right-hand corner. This is how you're going to find all of the blocks that have the functionality for what you want to program. So we want to work with the button, and we want, when the button clicks, a picture to be taken. So I'm going to say when button 1 clicked, and I'm going to go over to the camera because that's where I want the functionality from. I'm going to say call camera, take a picture. That tells App Inventor to then call the camera and take a picture using the camera. It's a built-in function, so we don't have to program it. It already knows what to do. We also need to tell it what to do after the picture's been taken. So we're going to say when camera 1, after the picture has been taken, we want to set the canvas to be that picture. To do that, we're going to scroll down. Notice I clicked on canvas here. We want to go to set canvas 1 background image to, and we want it to get image. We'll go image. Notice when I hover over image, I have get and set. We're just going to get. So that says get the image that you just took from the camera and make it the background. So if we look at what we have so far, we have the call camera, and that's the part that lets us take the picture. We have the when camera 1 after picture, and when button click. Those are event handlers. That's what the event handler is. It says when this happens, I want you to do this. That's how events work. At this time, I want you to test it. Make sure that you go to Connect and AI Companion, and then on your device, you want to select Scan QR code, and then connect with the QR code and test your app. So right now, all your app does, when you click on the button, it will bring up the camera, and really nothing happens except it sets that background image to the picture for you. So now we want to be able to draw on that image that we put on using that camera event handler. So you want to say canvas, and let's go ahead and set the canvas to a bigger size. Right now the canvas is small. Let's go back into our designer and let's go to the canvas and set the height to fill parent and the width to fill parent. That means take up as much space as you can. Now our picture will take up more space when we take it. You might not have even seen a picture when you tested it if you have not changed that yet. Let's go back into the blocks view. We're going to say when canvas dragged. That's going to be the event handler that says, okay, somebody has touched and dragged their finger on the screen. What are we going to do about it? So we're going to drag this down, and we want it actually to draw a line. So if we go back into the canvas and scroll down, we want call, here we go, canvas 1, draw a line. You'll notice it has X1, Y1, X2, and Y2. We want to tell it to go from where we started on the XY axis on the screen to where we ended and draw a line between those 2 points. And it checks it very quickly and very often, so it's not as choppy as you might think it would be. So we're going to go previous X, get previous X, previous Y, get previous Y. Notice I'm hovering over, I'm not clicking until I see the options pop up, and get current X and get current Y. If you test your app right now, you will notice that you can draw on your screen. Now I want you to try to add one or more of these features to your app. So you can add a slider pen that lets you change the pen size to larger or smaller while you're drawing on the screen. You can do a changing the color of the pen, red, green, and blue. You can also clear the tablet, or the device rather, when you shake it. It'll clear the screen. So I'm going to show you all three. You can do all three. You can even add more functionality if you'd like to try some more on your own. But let's add a couple of these. So I'm going to go to my designer, and this is going to be for the pen size slider. If I go over here to my user interface, I want a slider. I'm going to pull that up here, and I'm going to grab a label so I know what this slider is for. I'm going to put it in front of it. Now you'll notice everything's kind of sitting on top of each other, and it's really not an appealing way to make an app look. So you can change the layout and think about horizontal is left to right and vertical is up and down. I want a horizontal arrangement to put all these buttons in. So I'm going to move my text. I'm going to move my slider next to it. And I'm going to put my take a picture button right there. Let's change the text for this to say pen size. And I'm actually going to change, well, I'll leave that the size it is. So we're going to change the value of the slider as the person slides it back and forth. So we want to go into the blocks view and say when the slider position is changed, see where they put their finger and where they ended up, and change the pen size to match that. So we go to slider, and up at the top we need an event handler. The event is when the slider position changed. We're going to set canvas, and we want the line size, line width. So we're going to scroll down here, height, line width, here it is. Set line width to, we want to get the thumb position of where they're at. So you're going to hover over and say get thumb position, and it'll change it to that size. So test that if you try it. Then let's try adding some buttons to change the color of the pen. So I'm going to go here. I'm actually going to add a vertical arrangement, and I'm going to pull this horizontal arrangement into it, and I'm going to add another horizontal arrangement underneath it, and I'm going to grab 3 buttons, one for red, one for blue, and one for green. Where did that horizontal arrangement go? Okay, so, ooh, it does not like that. Let's try another one. Horizontal arrangement. Grab it in there. Oh, I just didn't get it right up in there. You got to be really, really careful when you're doing this. So we're going to delete this one. Good time to show you how to delete an element. Click on the element in the component screen and click delete. It will ask you to confirm, and then it will delete. So we need to change this text to R for red. And I'm actually going to change the button name so I know what it's about. Otherwise it's going to be hard to program the different buttons. And I'm going to name this one button red. And this one I'm going to name G. Rename it to button green. I'm going to do this for each of the buttons. I can even change the color background of this. If I go over here, background color, and change it to red, this one to green, and this one to blue. Now the event handler that I'm going to use here is when button clicked, and I'm going to change the color. So when button red clicked, I want to change on the canvas the pen color to red. Paint color right here. And then I'm going to grab a color up here from my preset colors, and I'm going to grab red. I'm going to do this for each of the buttons. Button green, click, set canvas. You can actually duplicate. I'm going to teach you this. Right click, duplicate, canvas 1, paint color. We're going to change it to a different color. I'm going to toss that in the garbage. Grab green. And we'll do the same for blue. Now when you test your app, it will change the color when you click on the button. Finally, let's learn how to use the accelerometer that basically tests for if the device is being shaken or moved. So we're going to go to the blocks, or to the designer rather, and we need to pull an accelerometer over. It is a sensor. It's non-visible, so it'll pop down here. And in the blocks view, what we want to say is when it is shaking, clear the screen. When accelerator is shaking, we want to go to the canvas, and we want to say call canvas clear. Those are the extra options. You can try any other ones that you want to make this your own. Please make sure that you do take a screenshot of this window and of the designer window, including the properties of some of the buttons that we changed, and add that to your assignment in Google Classroom to turn it in.